So good day, ma'am. Good day, everyone. So I am Anna Rose Amambak, and my topic is all about the 10 principles of competency-based training and characteristics of the competency-based training. I will read the learning objective first. So at the end of the lesson, the students will be able to enumerate the 10 principles of the competency-based training, explain the principles of CBT, and enumerate and explain the characteristics of CBT. So this topic has already been discussed by Ms. Violeta Pagalan, and I know that this is very familiar to all of you. So what really is competency-based training? So a competency-based training is a training delivery approach that focuses on the competency development of the learner as a result of the training. So competency-based training emphasizes on what the learner can actually do. So it focuses on outcomes rather than the learning process within specified time. So it is concerned with the attainment and application of knowledge, skills, and attitudes to a specific level of competency. So here are a competency base is based on the following basic principles. So first principle is the training is based on curriculum developed from the competency standards. So the trainer should be aware that all training activities are done towards the attainment of the assessment criteria set in the competency-based curriculum. So second principle is the learning is modular in its structure. So it means that one competency is generally considered as one module. So since learning is modular in instruction, a trainee should be competent in the module currently being trained before going to the other competency. So competency-based learning materials are prepared per competency, which shall serve as the main material and guide in training. So information in the attainment of knowledge and skills are provided for in the competency-based learning material. So next principle is training delivery is learner-centered and should accommodate individualized and self-paced learning strategies. So trainees are treated as individuals learners with different characteristics, learning styles, and training needs. So the decisions should therefore provide for varied activities employing different methods of training, considering that trainees are being trained simultaneously on different competencies. Activities should always allow trainees to work independently or in small groups with minimum supervision. So the fourth principle is that the training is based on work that must be performed. So the training is always based on actual industry practices. So training should provide for a simulated work environment. Next is the training materials are directly related to the competency standards and the curriculum modules. So the competency-based learning materials used during the training should conform to the competency-based curriculum and the competency standards. So the trainer should always check his session plans and competency-based learning materials to make sure that all assessment criteria are attained. The competency standard always provide the minimum requirements of the competency. So the next principle is that the assessment is based in the collection of evidence of the performance of work to the industry required standards. So this means that assessment is done to test whether the trainee is able to perform the job based on the required criteria in the competency standards. So this should be done before a trainee can advance to another competency. So a carefully prepared institutional evaluation tool should be used to assess the competency of the trainee. So in CBT, grades are not the basis of his competency. It is based on the satisfaction of the criteria or evidences which are collected through an institutional competency evaluation. So next principle is that training is based both on and off the job components. So this means that training is done in a simulated work environment and or in an actual work environment, such as in training comp production, enterprise-based training, and supervised industry training and on-the-job training. So next principle is that training programs allows for recognition of prior learning or current competency. So this principle means that current competencies acquired through training or work experience are recognized before training through a validation process so that the trainer can provide activities that match the learning level of each trainee. So prior learning is recognized by giving them a certificate of achievement for the competencies acquired previously. So data on other required skills should be carefully recorded to serve as data for planning the training activities of a particular trainee. So next, competency-based training principle is that the training allows for multiple entry and exit. So this means that trainees do not need to wait for others to be competent before he can exit either in competency or in the qualification. So fast learners may graduate faster than others. So the last principle in competency-based training is that training programs are registered with the UTPRAS, or also known as that Unified TVET Program Registration and Accreditation System. So UTPRAS registration assures that the quality of training is in good quality. So the competency-based TVET system recognizes various types of delivery modes. So this is an example of the modalities that was adopted in training programs. So first is the dualized mode of training delivery. So this is preferred and recommended. Thus, programs contain in school and in industry training or fieldwork components. Details can be referred to the dual training system implementing rules and regulation. So next modality is that modular or self-paced learning. So this is a competency-based training modality wherein the trainee is allowed to progress at his own pace. The trainer just facilitates the training delivery. Next is the peer teaching or mentoring. So it is a training modality wherein fast learners are given the opportunity to assist the slow learners. And the fourth modality is supervised industry training or on-the-job training. So it is an approach in training designed to enhance the knowledge and skills of the trainee through actual experience in the workplace to acquire specific competencies prescribed in the training regulations. Next is the distance learning. So it is a formal education process in which majority of the instruction occurs when the students and instructor are not in the same place. Distance learning may employ correspondence study or audio, video, or computer technologies. Last modality is the project-based instruction. So it is an authentic instructional model or strategy in which students plan, implement, and evaluate projects that have real applications. So let's now proceed to the characteristics of competency-based training. So first characteristics is that competencies are carefully selected. So if you are to become a trainer in TESDA someday, so these characteristics should be kept on mind. So second characteristics is supporting theory is integrated with skill practice. Essential knowledge is learned to support the performance of skills. Next is that the detailed training materials are keyed to the competencies to be achieved and are designed to support the acquisition of knowledge and skill. Next is characteristic is methods of instruction involve mastery learning. The premise that all participants can master the required knowledge or skill provided sufficient time and appropriate training methods are used. Next is the participants' knowledge and skills are assessed as they enter the program, and those with satisfactory knowledge and skills may bypass training or competencies already attained. So next characteristics is learning should be self-paced. Flexible training approaches including large group methods, small group activities, and individual study are essential components. Next is a variety of support materials including print, audiovisual, and simulation keyed to the skills being mastered are used. Next is satisfactory completion of training is based on achievement of all specified competencies. So let's now proceed on the implications of using competency-based training. So first is organizations must be committed to providing adequate resources and training materials in the training. So next is audiovisual materials need to be directly related to the written materials. Next, training activities need to match the objectives. Continuous participant interaction and feedback must take place. Next, trainers must be trained to conduct competency-based courses, and then individuals attending training must be prepared for CBT, as this approach is likely to be different from their past educational and training experiences. So we are now on the advantages of the competency-based training. So first advantages is participants will achieve competencies required in the performance of their jobs. So this means that if the trainee was able to complete a particular training, then he or she is able or competent enough to perform a job or work. Next is that participants build confidence as they succeed in mastering specific competencies. Next, participants receive a certificate of achievement for every competencies they have achieved. Training time is more efficiently and effectively as the trainer is a facilitator of learning as opposed to a provider of information. So more training time is devoted to working with participants individually or in small groups as opposed to presenting lectures. So more training time is devoted to evaluating each participant's ability to perform essential job skills. So next is the limitations of the competency-based training. So one of So while there are a number of advantages of competency-based training, there are also some potential limitations. So prior to implementing competency-based training, it is important to consider these limitations. The first limitation is that unless initial training and follow-up assistance is provided for the trainers, there is a tendency to teach as we were taught, and competency-based training trainers quickly slip back into the role of traditional teacher. So kanang maglisod si trainer nga mo focus nga mo facilitate lang sa learning kay mas naanad man ang usa ka trainer nga mo spoon feed jud og information sa usa ka trainee. So next limitation is that a CBT course is only as effective as the process used to identify the competencies. So when little or no attention is given to identification of the essential job skills, then the resulting training course is likely to be ineffective. So next is the course may be classified as competency-based, but unless specific competency-based training materials and training approaches like learning guides, checklists, and coaching are designed to be used as part of the competency-based training approach. So it is unlikely that the resulting course will be truly competency-based. So that will be all my topic, and thank you and God bless.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Maria Stella Vistal, and for today's meeting, we will talk about the principles of adult learning. So, before anything else, let me read the learning objectives so at the end of the lesson, the students should be able to enumerate and explain the principles of adult learning. Trainees of TVET are generally adults. In planning and delivery of training, therefore, you should consider these principles so that appropriate activities and materials are prepared and used during the delivery of training. So here are the key characteristics of adult learning. First is relevant. Adult learners prefer content that is directly applicable to their lives, work, or goals. They are motivated when they see the immediate relevance of what they are learning. Second is task-oriented. Adults appreciate learning that is practical and focused on achieving specific objectives or tasks. They are often goal-oriented and prefer learning activities that help them accomplish these goals efficiently. The third one is participatory, two-way communication. Adult learners value active participation in the learning process. They thrive in environments where there is a two-way communication, allowing them to contribute, ask questions, and engage with the material and fellow learners. The fourth one is friendly, controlled stress, positive feedback. Learners learn best in environments that are supportive, encouraging, and low stress. Positive feedback and encouragement foster a sense of motivation and confidence, enhancing the learning experience. Varied demonstrations, case studies, role play, not just lectures. Adults prefer diverse instructional methods that cater to different learning styles and preferences. This can include demonstrations, case studies, role plays, group discussion, and hands on activities rather than just traditional lectures. The last one is experience or built on past experience. They prefer learning activities that acknowledge and build upon their existing knowledge and skills. Relating new information to their past experiences enhances understanding and retention. These characteristics are based on the following 8 principles of adult learning, Sullivan 1995. First, learning is most productive when the student is ready to learn. Although motivation is internal, it is up to the trainer to create a climate that will nurture motivation. So learning is most productive when the learner is mentally and emotionally prepared to absorb new information. While motivation is internal, the trainer plays a crucial role in creating a supportive environment that nurtures this motivation. So the second one is learning is most effective when it builds on what the student already knows or has experienced. Effective learning builds upon what the learner already knows or has experienced. Acknowledging and leveraging existing knowledge and experiences enhances comprehension and retention of new information. So the third one is learning is most effective when students are aware of what they need to learn. Clear communication of learning objectives helps students understand what they need to learn, guiding their focus and efforts towards achieving specific goals. So the fourth one is to be effective, feedback should be immediate, positive, and non-judgmental. Incorporating diverse training methods and techniques caters to different learning styles and preferences, making the learning process more engaging and effective. So the next one is opportunities to practice skills initially in controlled or simulated situation. Example, through role play or use of anatomic models are essential for skill acquisition and for development of skill competency. Providing opportunities for learners to practice skills in controlled or simulated settings such as role-playing or using models is crucial for skill acquisition and competency development. So the next one is repetition is necessary to become competent or proficient in a skill. Repetition is essential for achieving proficiency in a skill. Regular practice and reinforcement solidify learning and improve skill competency over time. So the next one is the more realistic the learning situation, the more effective the learning. Learning is most effective when the training environment closely mirrors real-world situations. Realistic scenarios enhance understanding and prepare learners to apply their knowledge and skills in practical settings. So the last one is to be effective, feedback should be immediate, positive, and non-judgmental. Feedback should be immediate, positive, and non-judgmental to facilitate learning. Constructive feedback helps learners identify areas for improvement and reinforces positive behaviors and achievement. Training delivery is based on different principles of education and training. As a trainer,
should have a clear understanding of these principles and the characteristics of your trainee so that you can provide activities most appropriate to them. Integrating these principles of education and training should make your training more efficient and most effective. That would be all. Thank you for listening.
So good afternoon, everyone. I am the second reporter. So today I will discuss the delivery plan. So before we start our discussion, what is delivery plan? So delivery plan is a CBT and a learner-centered and a learner-based approach to training. The delivery should, however, be well prepared and well. So here are the following activities will be useful guides for a facilitator like you. So first is explain the objectives and the outcomes of the training. And next is explain the learning and assessment process. Three is ensure that the presentation and training methods are appropriate. Next is using training equipment and materials correctly. Next is provide sample practice opportunities. And next is monitor trainees' readiness for assessment. And last is the 9 events of the institution. So that so 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 the first is explain the objectives and the outcomes of the training. So it it is the party it is include the participants of your training activities should know where they are going and what goals they need to achieve and what overcomes they are supposed to attain. So and the second is explain the learning and assessment process. So as a part of the orientation process, the CBT process flow, the use of CBLM and other learning materials should be explained and sensitively to the trainees. So, since the trainees came from a traditional learning, they will expect the same activities like sitting down while listening to their teacher, who is expectedly to be always in front of them to explain every lesson they should learn. So third is ensure the presentation and training methods and appropriate. So it forms you to develop and module planning training session. It should be used to know the learning styles, capabilities, and attitudes of your individual trainees. So fourth is use training equipment and materials correctly. So training equipment, when used as correctly, adds value of efficiently in the learning experience. So next is provide example practice opportunity. So it includes the facilitator should be in constant contact with the trainee. So it continues and immediate feedback is critical to the acquisition of knowledge and skills. So next is monitor trainees' readiness and for assessment. So monetary achievements of trainees is a very important aspect of the delivery of training. Your role is as a trainer here is to see to that activities and requirements are properly sequenced and accomplished to achieve outcomes desired. So so last is the 9 events of instruction. So I know we are familiar with these 9 events. So we have the gain attention, inform learners of objectives, stimulate recall of prior learning, present stimulus materials, provide learning guidance, elicit performance, and provide feedback, assess performance, and enhance retention and transfer. So gaining attention is the learner's interest, so to gain the interest of the learners. And informing learners for objectives is discuss what will be taught and stimulate recall of prior learning, ask questions to follow up on what they already know. Four is presenting the stimulus, so it includes teach the lesson. 5 is providing learning guidance. Allow teacher facilitated student practice. 6 is ICT performance. It's have learner complete a task on what was taught. 7 is providing feedback. Let learner know how they did on the task. 8 is assessing performance. Evaluate learner and acknowledge what was taught. And lastly is enhancing retention and transfer. So it provides actively to help learners to remember what was taught. So, next we proceed to the second topic of my topic. So we have the learning station. Please read Ms. Hervik.
Learning station is a setup is essential in training. In this lesson, you will identify learning stations appropriate for the acquisition of skills in catching competency of your qualification. Learning station setup will depend on the skills to be practiced and the activities to be performed.
So there are parts of the learning stations. We have six, if I may, five area of learning station. We have the reading area. So reading area is it includes the reading modules to acquire knowledge. For example, will only lead to CDLM or table answers which are located in the components of your workshop, such as learning resources area, the computer area, and also provide additional learning materials which can be searched from the internet or a part of your e-learning materials. So, aring makita ang mga example is cookery, magluluto, then ICT, computer, then next is the simulators. So please read this journey.
Norton, 1987, believes that participants in a competency-based training course should learn in an environment that duplicates or simulates the workplace. Richards, 1985, in writing about performance testing, indicates that assessment of skills requires tasks using simulations, modules, and role plays, or work samples performing actual tasks under controlled condition in either a laboratory or a job setting.
So also it includes the CARE 1990 in a study of a business and industry found that the best approach of training involved learner-centered instruction using instructional technology and simulation. So it includes Norton and Richards and Delper. Then next is training simulators. So it also called mock-ups. These
Mock-ups.
mock-ups. Mock-ups. This learning station should closely or model the equipment and materials that are usually in work area you should need to be set up so as they provide actual practice of skills within a competency. So the number of simulators or mock-ups will depend on the number of machines used and your qualification on trainees methodology level they develop. So next is the role play area. This
Role play area should mimic the actual work area as in a restaurant. The essential parts and workstations arrangements should be a prime consideration in setting up the role play area.
So the role play areas is the most not be the setup of whole restaurant by the area where tasks and being done as a serving guest, including the furnitures and other utensils should be physically present in order that performance and the fee will not be limited by the absence of these materials. Next is the so that's all my report. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Mark Leo Baranes from Group 7. And today I will going to discuss the training activity matrix. So, what is training activity matrix? Activity matrix. The training activity matrix, a tool used to schedule training activities, tools or equipment, and workstation areas. It also serves as a guide for learners to know what to do and where to go. Next is how to prepare the training activity matrix. The trainer must identify first the basis in organizing and preparing resources. These are the following.
Session plan, introduction sheets. In the introduction sheets are the information sheets, task sheets, operation sheets, job sheets, learning guide, and competency-based curriculum.
Next is the procedures in preparing a training activity matrix.
1. Review the session plan and look for the common activities. 2. For each activity, recognize, identify the teaching and learning resources specifications. 3. Assign an appropriate learning area for each activity. 4. List teaching learning resources to use for each activity. Ensure that variety of materials will be given to the fit one's learning style. 5th, finalize and review the training activity matrix.
Thank you, Ms. Navarez. Proper scheduling and management is the answer for the use of limited equipment. The trainer should therefore schedule training activities based on both current competencies of trainers and the availability of training resources, making sure that no training is idle. The following training activity matrix is recommended to schedule and monitor the use of the facilities and resources. This training activity matrix should work hand in hand with your session plan. The session plan is a plan for the whole qualifications and for trainees with different learning styles, while the training activity matrix is a daily plan which will show the activity of each trainee. Next, can we read Ms. Belgi?
This matrix is a monitoring tool of training activities for the trainer. The vocational instruction supervisor and the administrators may also look for this matrix when monitoring competency-based trainings. This matrix, along with a well-prepared session plan, is a good indicator that the training being implemented is using the CBT or competency-based training approach. The trainer may print a copy of this plan or he may keep it to his computer. It is recommended that this matrix is updated daily.
Thank you, Ms. Belgi. Next slide, please. So, this is the example of training matrix. So, training activity, training, facilities, tools and equipment, venue, workstation area, date and time, and remarks. Next. So, these are the guidelines in making the training activity matrix. First, write the training activities or session based on training needs and on trainees' chosen competency. Next, based on the instructional sheet needed in activity, job sheet, task sheet, and information sheet, list down the facility, tools, and equipment needed for the activity. The inventory for training supplies, tools, equipments, and facilities is very useful in planning for the activities of trainees in the class. Next is instructional sheet number should be specific. Next, trainees should not be crowding in a workstation area. Limit the number of trainees to 5 and below per workstation learning area. Next, ensure full utilization of equipment work area. Avoid limited number of equipment to be idle to prevent crowding of trainees. Next, date and time of use should be specified. Next, remarks should be made on the activity of each trainee. This will be your guide in planning for the activities of your trainees the next session. You may include the following remarks for assessment. to be assisted by name of a peer mentor. Sorry. Needs more practice of job sheets and any other comments pertaining to the training of each training. Last, the number of workstation will vary depending on number of workstations in the CBT layout. Number of workstations may also be dependent on the number of mock-ups per competency. In this session, it is recommended that this training matrix be accomplished as guide in scheduling trainees every training session. This is an additional tool in monitoring trainees' activities and the use of facilities, tools and supplies and materials. And that's all.
Good day, everyone. So I am Woljimi Kobiu, and I'm going to discuss about the lesson recognition of prior learning. So first, let me read lesson objectives of this presentation. So at the end of the lesson, students will be able to define RPL, enumerate the advantages of RPL, determine evidences of competency, and identify the criteria for assessing evidences of prior learning. So let's define what is recognition of prior learning means. So recognition of prior learning refers to the acknowledgement of skills and knowledge held as a result of formal training, work experience, and or life skills. So this recognition of prior learning is a process that acknowledges and gives value to the skills and knowledge that individuals or participants have acquired through various means such as formal education, work experience, training programs, or life experiences. So the main purpose of recognizing prior learning is to recognize the competencies and expertise that individuals already possess and to provide them with opportunities to gain formal recognition for these skills. So, recognition of prior learning or experience is a form of assessment used to determine whether a person has achieved through informal or formal learning and experience the required competence for entry and or credit in a recognized course or a training program. So, RPL or recognition of prior learning is an essential component of competency based training. So, it focuses on current competency standard gained by individuals through work experience. So, it includes skills, knowledge, and abilities developed in various job roles, project, and tasks. So, those experiences that we acquire through working. So, next is life experience. So includes volunteering activities, personal and interest, hobbies, travel, and personal challenges. So next is formal training, obtained through formal education, of course, and training programs. Includes qualification certificates, courses, and workshops completed in academic institutions. Then fourth, which is informal training. So this may involve self-directed learning, online courses, mentorship, or on-the-job training that, of course, outside traditional education framework. So this informal training is like experiences that you acquired outside the educational frameworks. Next, we have the advantages of recognition of prior learning or the RPL. So, RPL allows you to complete a formal education in a shorter period of time and at less cost. So, what this means? So, shorter education, by recognizing these existing skills and knowledge, it results in a shorter period of study and it reduces costs as individuals do not need to study or recover material they have already mastered. So that that's it. So RPL means that you do not have repeat or waste time learning what you have already learned. So of course, no, so kay mas like expert na kana like na naka-knowledge ana nga like course or qualification or competency, so dili na ka dapat nga mobalik pa og take ana nga course like nga so RPL increases your career and education option through recognized skills and knowledge. So by having recognized skills and knowledge, it opens door to higher level position, promotion, and access to advanced education programs. Last, which is RPL allows for fair access to studies that you wish to undertake. So it promotes inclusivity and equal opportunities by providing fair access to education opportunities. Next, we have the evidences of RPL. So a trainee needs to provide sufficient evidence of his knowledge and skills by submitting relevant documents and or materials. So the integrity of the RPL process cannot be compromised. Therefore, the burden is on the trainee to supply as much evidence as possible, but it is the trainer to confirm trainee's competence. So before a recognize your skills and abilities and knowledge, so you need the like trainees or the trainer or the trainees should provide evidences for having those skills and knowledge. So evidences could consist of any or all the following. So first is formal statement or results. So it is an formal statement of results, like results of official or like official documents from educational institutions that details the trainee's performance grades and qualification. Next, examples of work or resources which you have produced, like work projects, reports, or other materials created by the trainee that showcase your skills and capabilities. So next is performance appraise approach. Fourth one is reference from current or previous employers. So testimonials or reference from your employers, no? So unsa ilang istorya about nimo. Then position description or job role. So the job responsibilities, the task, and the rules demonstrate of trainee. So unsa imong unsa imong role or imong position or sa like sa work nimo. So details of formal training seminars, conferences, and workshops you have attended, which are relevant to this qualification. Certificates of participation, achievements, award, letters of commendations. So like kanang mga um certificates nga imong nadawat, ano, so manay mga mapakita nga nakay anang skills and knowledge about niya competencies. Then videotapes, tape recordings, and or photographs of work activities. So mga visual evidence as nga makita sa like nag-interview nimo, so ug nang gusto sila ganang evidences jud. So specific details of work and or participation in projects. So written testimonials from managers or colleagues, written validation from workplace supervisor, and lastly, documented workplace demonstration. So let us now proceed to the RPL assessment. So the process includes an assessment of skills and knowledge against the elements and performance criteria of the relevant unit. Trainee's competence will be assessed against the following 6 criteria. First is the authenticity. So does the trainee have evidence of his skills and knowledge? So does ang trainee ba daw is nga ba siya mga kanang evidences about his skills and knowledge? So it include formal qualifications, position descriptions, references, and any other material to support the claim. So the evidence must be authenticated by the appropriate authority. So if their skills and knowledge genuine and valid, so including formal, like ato na, mga formal qualifications, mga certificates, mga awards, nga nagpakita nga na sila'y kanang they acquire those competencies. So next we have the currency. So are the skills and knowledge used in the workforce now? So whether the skills and knowledge possessed by the trainee are currently relevant and applicable in the workplace that they applied for or kana iyang gitrabahoan karon. So ensuring up to date and are in line with the current requirements. So next we have the quality. Are the skills and knowledge at the standard appropriate for current requirements as per competency standard? So whether the trainee skills and knowledge meet the standard of quality required for specific competency standard. So kanang na-meet ba sa trainee ang kanang quality nga ilang gipangita sa usa ka applicants or participants. Then relevance, are the skills and knowledge relevant to the particular qualification? Transferability, are the skills and knowledge gained also relevant to the particular qualification? Then lastly, we have validity. Can the applicant demonstrate a skill required for the course? So whether like maka-demonstrate ba or makabuat ba ang kana nga trainee sa iyang giingon nga skills and abilities niya. So this may be necessary for practical units. Then we have the perceived benefits of RPL for participants. Unsa mga benefits nga makuha sa mga participants and recognizing their prior learning. So first is formal recognition of work and life skills. So provides participants with official acknowledgement, of course. Then second, elimination of redundant learning. So participant can avoid repeating training or education in areas where they already possess skills and effort. So if ma-recognize lang ilang prior learning, ilang mga skills and abilities, so pwede na sila nga mo-skip na sila nga like competencies. Then next, we have reduction in time spent in college. So pwede na sila dili na sila mo take nga college ay nga course. Then next is boosted self-esteem. So it can boost participants' confidence and motivate them to pursue further educational and career opportunities. So next, we have lastly more rapid access to higher paid and higher status jobs. So enables participants to demonstrate their expertise. So it opens the door to higher paying and prestigious job opportunities based on skills and expertise they expertise recognized. So and that's it. So next we have the perceived benefits of training institutions. So first is avoid wasting resources on training students who already possess relevant skills and experience. So dili na sila mo take paan nga course if nga students is ni possess na nga mga skills. So next is maximizing places for those people who need training. So like mag-focus na sila sa mga participants or sa mga students nga or people nga nag-need pa adto nga mga competencies. Then lastly, in the longer term, closer liaison with industry. Next, we have the perceived benefits for employers. So speedier training of employees. So allows employer to identify and fill skip gaps in their workforce quickly. So next is continuity of staff. More effective and efficient use of skills in the industry, resulting in an balance between labor supply and demand. So lastly, we have employee study leave requirements and time away from the workplace being kept to a minimum. So, and in conclusion, so recognition of prior learning is essential as it streamlines education and training by recognizing individuals' existing skills and knowledge. So it enhances career prospects, empower individuals, and align education with industry needs. That's all. Thank you.